Deltahead stream for 12/5/2020, and tonight we are doing part 4 of Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. And then after that we're going to do a stinger stream of the skateboarding minigame, Raiden's skateboarding minigame from Metal Gear Solid 2 Substance, which is going to be a good time. Excuse me. So yeah, pre-game show, media this week. Let's see. Watched Sugata Sanshiro, Kurosawa's first film, and was just sort of plagued by this kind of deja vu as I was watching through it, and I was like, why am I anticipating every story beat? And I realized it's because I watched it back in 2017 and completely forgot about it until rewatching it. And now that I've seen a ton more Jirageki movies, I can appreciate more what's going on, so it was definitely worth the rewatch. Evening, Space Hamlet. It's good to see you. Excuse me. And book-wise, my reading time, which usually happens in the morning, has been taken up a little bit this week, so it's been slower going. But I did get a couple of books for my birthday. They came in the mail, and I'm super excited by it. Faust, parts 1 and 2, or Faust, as it is, by Goethe. And I haven't read this since high school, so I'm excited to jump back into it. And I gotta say, it's solid work. The translator is A.S. Klein. The material, I find that I kind of have to read it out loud. Again, this is what I often have to do with poetry because so much of it is sonic, and a lot of the rhythm and sounds are kind of what's carrying a lot of the meaning. So I kind of have to read it aloud under my breath, and when I'm sitting down, I kind of slouch like this. So it takes about 10 minutes to get going, not just because of the old mental gears, but also because of the lung capacity, because when I'm slouched like that, obviously all the guts and everything are crammed up against my lungs and reduce the capacity to inhale, which you don't always notice when you're reading silently. But then when you realize, when you start going an approach where you have to breathe, it comes up. Let's see. Yeah, and it opens up with a discussion between a dramatist, who is sort of your high poetic writer, a comedian, who is, as you might think, a comedian, and a director, who is sort of the active force between the two, and it's sort of a super ego, id sort of arrangement, with the dramatist being the super ego that's got like high aesthetic values, director being the ego that's making the shots, and the comedian being the id. Evening, Mexican Sting. And honestly, I mean, going through this stuff, it's super relevant to just so much of the stuff that I think about, particularly as regards video games and the way the stories are made. Because after playing through Little Hope, I think for the third time, it's something that we're playing in the house here, and I played through for the third time, and I find that I've kind of squeezed everything that I can out of it, precisely because it lacks bullshit. It just doesn't have enough dumb bullshit in there for me. And it's a very serious horror game, and it's, it does what it says it's going to do, and it did not telegraph to me that it would do anything ridiculous, and it didn't. So everything's on level there. But there's one of the, let's see, a quatrain here by the comedian, talking to the dramatist who wants to just really wants to insist on deep, meaningful themes. Be brave and show them what you've got. Have fantasy with all her chorus, yes. Mind, reason, passion, tears, the lot. But don't you leave out foolishness. And that is what I think about Metal Gear Solid. And even if some of the other things are a little operatic and grandiose and hand-wringing at times in terms of the pathos with your dying breath, confessions from bosses, it includes the foolishness. And it's one of the things that makes Metal Gear Solids 2 and 3 my favorites. And one of the things that makes Peace Walker and 5 a little lower than they could be. I also got Evening Arc. It's good to see you. I got Goethe's Italian Journey, which is sort of a travelogue that he compiled from letters that he wrote back home as he did a walking tour from Germany down to Italy, obviously. So That brings us to about 5 minutes, so I think this is a pretty good time to go ahead and get started. Give me 1 second. I can pull up chat on the iPad here, so I don't have to look at the thing. The dumb bullshit, yeah. Yep, that's, having been playing Yakuza Like a Dragon, I gotta say, like, that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for. It is ridiculous, and that is what will get me coming back to the game every time. So, give me 1 second here. Let me turn this over. As I have misleadingly had Metal Gear Solid 3 highlighted, I bumped the going through the archives. I bumped the game audio up a little bit because it felt a little imbalanced. So if it seems it was just a little bit of a bump, and I also put a cap on it with a filter. But in case it gets a little louder and I'm competing with it, please let me know, and we'll get that fixed. And oh man. So yeah, the news this week was that this is his name, Oscar Isaac, I think was named is attached to play Snake in the Metal Gear Solid movie, and that's neat. I can see it. I can see the facial structure. It's interesting seeing them compare it to seeing them compare his face to Big Boss's, which I actually think he has less likeness to than Solid Snake. Does he sound like David Hayter? Well, I mean, just chain smoke enough and throw back enough whiskey on your tattered rags of vocal cords, and I mean, I think you'll get halfway there. I mean, the thing about, like, yeah, Metal Gear, honestly, I think Metal Gear would work more as an opera, like a straight up opera than a movie, because so much of it really, I mean, the thing about an opera is with the arias and everything, they really sustain an emotion and hold that for a long time, and just find several different points of entry to the emotion and sing around it, make it as big as possible. And that's what Metal Gear does. Metal Gear is much more operatic than cinematic in that sense, I think. Sans the camera work, obviously. Let's see. Where were we in this? Oh, I guess the little DualShock 3 icon there means that this is a... it means it's a console save as opposed to a transferred PSP save? That's interesting. I wonder if that is a some sort of solar panel. Let's see what the backside looks like. Backside's just kind of the same thing. I do just like the idea that that's just a billboard where they can advertise in international airspace anybody who wants the Mother Base brand T-chips to purchase as a snack. Yeah, I think that's the control tower, if I am remembering my FOB correctly. That's where Miller, everybody's doing their stuff. Although, I mean, if you kind of take that as the bottom, this is the top. I don't know, it kind of actually looks like the sort of esoteric design of an experimental or a beta Sony console. So let's see, who do we have? We have plenty of people ready to join up, leave their families. Soldiers who will not go home and be a family man. Pronghorn. Skink. And the rest of you are only good at fighting. The best I can think of, like with the mother bases looking like Big Shell, I mean, the Metal Gear series, you know, I've taken this as having thematic importance, but doesn't necessarily need to be that way. You can just view the Metal Gear series as cannibalizing every element that it has had in the past as a way of creating sequels that have the same feel and substance as the ones that came before. And I think that that's a sensible way of making a sequel and thinking about it, even if you change the basic engine and gameplay like they did from like MGS3 to Peace Walker. But in general, they just sort of recycle a lot of design ideas and give them new context to make them feel refreshed. And I think that had MGS2 not set Big Shell out in the ocean, I don't think Mother Base would consistently look like it does. Yeah, super self-referential. Oh, wait, Cocoon Battle.
Snake, that's Huey's unmanned weapon, the Cocoon. Put it out of commission.
Turn the volume down on that a little bit. I think of Kojima's work outside of I think Death Stranding. Death Stranding is actually a game that doesn't do this as much, maybe for rights reasons, but his work sort of inhabits a imaginative canon, is what I'm gonna say, because
Survival.
yeah, because you've got things like the Metal Gear Mark II that shows up in Snatcher and MGS4. You know, Meryl, of course, showing up in Police Knots. And a lot of these things are just, there's this sort of ether into which every created thing is eventually redeposited, and from which it will be withdrawn at some point in a future game. Though I think with Death Stranding and maybe some of the rights stuff that goes along with that, there's maybe some hand slapping that would happen if that were attempted now. Supply mark, throwing mark, that's good. Strike mark? Let's try that. And yeah, this seems good. How are y'all tonight? That zoom in on the face as the weapon kicks up, that's kind of a beloved
Get rid of the Cocoon. If anybody can handle something this big, it's you.
beloved animation when going into a boss fight.
Run. Hiding won't do anything against a gun like that.
Congratulations on your burrito. Oh wow, those things just pop right off. What? I don't even know what these things do. I just want them gone. This is definitely getting into the Monster Hunter feeling gameplay. Can't get me under here. can shoot me directly underneath him. Cool. Noted. A Dream Bomb, if you catch the archive of our Tuesday stream with the Stinger material, Oop, you get out from there. I found the Monster Hunter PS2 demo disc with a video.
You're about to commence the requested supporting fire. Stay clear.
Oh, nifty. I actually completely forgot that this was a feature in Peace Walker. I only remember it from MGS5.
We can't fire these things at the drop of a hat. Try again later.
Anyway, if you catch that that stream, it's got the promotional video
We speak.
for Monster Hunter on there.
They've okayed the request for supporting fire. It should commence any second now.
A Dream Bomb, my tragic Monster Hunter PS2 experience was that I finally dropped the money on a used copy, brought it home, was very excited to play a network game on my PS2 that was not either Resident Evil Outbreak or MGS3 Online, and I caught that game literally on its last day of server activity. So I had enough time to set up my character, go in, get killed by, I don't know, whatever the Velociraptor creatures are, and that was it. Oh, that's not what you want. Oh, oh crap, crap, crap. Did I miss? Alright, got it.
About to commence the requested supporting fire. Stay clear. They've okayed your request for a cardboard box. It'll be sent out shortly.
Monster Hunter 4U, is that the one that's currently on PS4? I have lost track of which are the current Monster Hunters. Okay, gotcha, gotcha. Oh hey, there are these fellows up here. I guess my goal is to destroy these sort of boxy looking things. This boss fight affords you enough angles and enough unique and interesting things to attack that it was probably my favorite of the AI bosses to play multiplayer on, because each person could be assigned their own
You're gonna want to take out that weapon before jumping on.
their own particular elements. I got the latest Monster Hunter and really had a good time with the, I mean, it's not a bard, but you can basically take an axe and use it like a guitar, I remember. And the wordplay of that did not occur to me until I just said it aloud right now. But, yeah, I just kept feeling bad about killing the monsters.
They've okayed the request for support. They're sending out a cardboard box as we speak.
Evening time zombie. Probably, I don't know, these typically go about 3 hours these days. So if you're going to be around for a bit, I will be doing this game. Oh, ow. And then I'm going to be doing some Metal Gear Solid 2 skateboarding, which is always a good time. Oh wait, it's going nuts. I really like their "I'm Going Crazy" songs. That's interesting. You know, I think I could probably deal with killing the monsters with less. With less angst if there were some sort of overtly reincarnated form of them. Like, that were definitely the canon. Oh boy. Oh no, 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 no!
Locate your request for a cardboard box. It'll be sent out shortly. Use the ladder.
Yeah, I mean, I understand the sort of the lore reason why I'm going out there and killing them. Just feels like, I don't know. Just can't get my emotions on board with the experience. There's a strange internal phenomenon that's been happening, I want to say, for about a few months now, easily since since July, is every time I encounter one of the irrational beasts of nature in a video game, I just sort of wind up seeing my dumb cat. Like, it's like there's part of me that just perceives it as that, and I have a hard time feeling good about hunting it or killing it under any other name, because it's like, man, you know, the reason that Rathalos is attacking me, just at some very basic level, is akin to the reason my stupid cat decided to go for a super glue bottle and rip off the cap and then play around with it. And, you know, you gotta save them from themselves in a sense. But, yeah, there's this sort of, like, dumb ignorance to an irrational animal that makes me feel an affection for it that I just can't get around when I'm trying to play those games. Contrarily, shooting a human being is perfectly fine. I've got zero emotional problem with that. Oh, you can hit me there. So I guess it's the same thing that makes us want to know that no animals were harmed in the making of this film. Dude, stand up and run! Jesus, Snake.
Your request for a cardboard box. It'll be sent out shortly.
Gonna keep throwing these up there, see if I can hit anything. I mean, honestly, I can only hope that with the increase in, you know, just like voice acting fidelity and professionalism, that we will, in fact, have people being murdered in the VO studios, just to get that level of fidelity. Man, I want that buzzsaw. No, no, that's not not what I want. Wait, how are you hitting me at that angle? Oh wait, is there another one over there? Yes, there is, in fact. I am pinched between two of them. Oh! Oh! Buzzsaw! Buzzsaw! I heard it, and I didn't respond. Super close to having this done. Oh no, 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 I'm so dead. I'm dead. Ah, damn it. Should have taken the conservative route. Yeah, that's right. Let's take all of our NPCs and corral them into the Coliseum. Enough hunters have died to Rathlos to make us perfectly even. That's fair enough. Though the question that comes to mind is who started it? Oh boy, let's go, 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 go.
Get out of there. Run. Hiding won't do anything against a gun like that.
The big angry iguana. I keep thinking that these things are like the exhaust vents. Who is shooting at me? And by destroying them, I should be able to overheat it internally. Study it with swords. That's fantastic. No, there we go. Oh god! Get down! Okay. Whew. Alright, you can't punch the chainsaw. Seems obvious in retrospect, but you never know until you try, right? I mean, to be honest, my ideal video game does involve being able to parry a chainsaw, so I'm always testing each game to see, are you the one? the stars finally aligned? Can one truly get what he wants in life? If I can punch a chainsaw, the answer is yes.
They've okayed the request for support. They're sending out a cardboard box as we speak.
Wait, you can parry a chainsaw in Tekken? Ah. Leaving the scene of the crime. Oh yeah, that's right. That is definitely a reason to love the evil within. Okay. Somehow managed to get pinched between the most broadly signaled rock and the most evident hard place in the entire world. Although I guess I could probably hide here and not get squished. I am super grateful that these bombs do not destroy items that I have airdropped into the field. It would add an extra layer of challenge to these scenarios for sure. Grayling, thank you for the subscribe. It's good to see you out tonight. Go, 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 go! Snake, you can't parry that. We've learned this. Extensive battlefield testing. There we go.
They've okayed the request for support. They're sending out a cardboard box as we speak.
Yeah, it's kind of great seeing Big Boss struggle with this in terms of button mash lift the cocoon. I'm watching Big Boss, oh wow, struggle with this, and you can absolutely see Raiden crashing this thing into a wall, Revengeance Raiden, and then having a button mash lift to flip it on its back, at which point you can do the real damage underneath the turtle shell.
See the ladder on the turret? You're gonna want to take out that weapon before jumping on.
Ooh. That's Snake's ankle. Just gonna stay clear of those chain guns this time through.
Use the ladder.
You use the ladder. Killer. Let's go ahead and just
They've okayed your request for a cardboard box. It'll be sent out shortly.
refresh my stock here. Oh wow, that box hit something much higher up to spread the contents. And I wonder what that was. I'm interested. How do you feel about supply request versus other modes of in-mission rearm, you know, reloading mechanics like buying things through, I guess, the Mark II and Little Gray in MGS4 versus the extremely video gamey, okay, you are in a boss fight and we are going to respawn ammo right here whenever you get down to exactly 2 bullets. Oh, no, 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 go, go, go! Oh, please don't kill me. Alright, cool. No, God. Am I out of supply marks? What's going on there? Okay.
They've okayed the request for support. They're sending out a cardboard box as we speak.
Like, I don't know. I'm pretty decent at video games, and this is the 4th time I've been playing this game, and I'm still screwing up on the inputs, which I think is going to actually make Peace Walker's controls my least favorite of the entire series. Oh no, MGS5 was buttery smooth, I agree. All of the problems that are tangible in Peace Walker were absolutely solved in MGS5.
They've okayed your request for a cardboard box. It'll be sent out shortly.
Oh, well. Well, Cocoon, I know how you feel. I'm not super convinced that toggling that thing is actually helping.
Hurry up and get in the AI pod. Otherwise it'll reactivate.
I don't think I'm getting up there.
Heads up, Nick. The
What?
turret's back online.
What happened? Not totally sure how I fell off there. Oh my god, it gets that much health back? Man. Maybe it... Maybe it's damage.
They've got a lock on you. Move it. They're about to
Maybe it's
commence the
more easily damaged is what I'm trying to say. No, I don't... Like, the fact that if I walk up to a ladder and don't have to hit a prompt to begin climbing it, that makes me think
Fire these things at the drop.
that if I climb a ladder to go down, I also don't need to push the button prompt.
They're sending out a cardboard box as we speak.
Whoa. 1 second here. Let's see if I can finally put this thing to bed.
Locate your request for a cardboard box. It'll be sent out shortly.
Oh, still out there. Okay. Now, I'm going to climb on top of the thing before trying to go for a coup de grace here. Oh no, no! There's like no good safe place to run if you haven't destroyed both of them there. Definitely seems like the wise thing to do is to destroy the shielding so you can climb up quickly. Let's get up there now. And that is my last cardboard box drop, so I better beat it on this one. Oh god. Am I gonna die again? Come on, get on the ladder, buddy. Snake doesn't quite have the mobility that I'm looking for here, so I think I'm actually just going to cheese this ladder. Yeah. Please be cheesable. I just want you to die. Thank God. Come on, let's go. Get up that ladder. Thank God. No, I mean, I'm kind of relearning it as I'm playing it, and I don't know. This is one of the reasons why Peace Walker is probably my least favorite Metal Gear. Is just a lot of the things that I feel like I want to do with the tool sets just don't take. And so I wind up making a lot of really stupid mistakes, and I kind of feel like, I don't know, I feel like a teenager, like just bumbling around, and hitting my head on low door frames. When you run out of time here, that just stops your ability to harvest these, motherboards, which you can then use to improve the ability of your Metal Gear Zeke. Invader in the brackets? Apologies if that's a reference to something in chat. I've been trying to squeeze a victory from the last second out of this boss. On the AI component, let me check the... No, I don't know. Yeah, Space Hamlet. As far as Ritalin goes, that is not unusual to definitely feel the crash more than a lift. It's sort of my understanding of it, sort of a slower on-take. Though having not had it myself, I cannot say that for sure from experience, but sort of reporting what others who I know have encountered. Thank you for the reminder about the strike mark railing. Wow, I can't believe I got out of that with a B. That was not an ideal performance. Oh, man. Oh, did I get a power unit out of this? Yeah, I think it's like, a teacher felt sorry for me. It's like, oh, wow, I'm serious, like I'm on that, you know, like, 84, 85 cusp, and it's like, you know what? There was a level of desperation which speaks to a sincerity of effort that is not matching with talent. And you know what? I'm just going to give you that extra point, give you the B. We can call it a day. And yeah, I feel like, yeah, that with time, with time, the effect changes, though it varies from person to person. But you know, always the disqualifier on that is your mileage may vary. So I hope it works for you. Yeah, have you ever looked at the I don't know what you would call it, but it's basically the medium through which extended release medicines are triggered. It's like what I've seen is like a really microscopic look of it is it's like several layers of a close mesh through which, you know, the active components wind up sort of sieving through, and as stomach acid begins to erode the mesh, it basically uses that as a kind of a filter to let it go in at a certain rate. It's really interesting, the science behind that is. One of my guys look like Dracula. Ah, I already assigned Dracula to a team. He's kind of got like a Castlevania 3 Alucard look. Starfish does. Oh, an invader like a space invader. Okay, I was looking for the word invader. I see what you mean. Is Alligator the champ or is Alligator the chomp? Little Jaws joke there for you. Free of charge. All right, Team Alpha, how you doing? Did you make us any money today? It's really interesting to see like weapons like the M10 show up here, because I very rarely use those. The sort of triangular crosshairs that they have sort of mess with my brain, and I can't really process how I'm aiming on that. But seeing weapons that I don't use developed used here actually makes that make more sense as a gameplay element. because this is one mode that can benefit from that. These are the Outer Ops, Space Hamlet. These are my dudes I sent out into the field to fight me some battles, and I get more money, I think, if they win. And you also just, you know, gradually, let's see, it's a completionist thing as well. Oh yeah, that's right. I think there are, let's see, do I have any mechs that I want to send along here? I do not. But we do have anti-armor missiles, so I'm probably sending in a combat unit should be just fine. In my mind, I am obviously not taking the time to do this with this save file, but I do see myself in a more bored life, or a more, I don't want to say bored, this is actually what I would just do with my time for fun, in a more loosely scheduled life, creating my units based around similar animal type. So, you know, all avians, that sort of thing. Kerning on lizard? I don't know what kerning is. Oh, really? You get the battle dress through through the Outer Ops. I've been wondering when that shows up. I've got a lot of money. For the suppressor, that's good. Well, probably more good for me than my Outer Ops guys. I'm actually really curious to go back and take a look at that after... Oh man, well, I've got enough money to develop more tea. Can I view them? No, I cannot. But I can view them here? Do you mean the kerning like on the eye there? The space between the letters on the eye? Is that the lizard you were thinking about? I see. Yeah, it's like a block width font that's not really taking full advantage of the block for a single straight letter. I can see that. Interesting. Oven bird, aka turkey. Monospaced. Infiltrate the underground base. Alright. I finally got an interior space. I can use my stealth suit to good effect. I remember when I was working on the ever delayed and never to be completed, apparently, Sega Gaga translation, one of the problems that we ran into was ooh, rank 2 Walkman. Was the block width font on the English that that was sort of just built in to the game. Assassin box. Yeah, that's what we want. And yeah, any letter took up the exact same amount of space, and so there was no kerning adjustment. I think I'm using that right now. Do I have a suppressor on that? I do not. So it just wound up being just a colossal mess and just impossible to read. and any word that neared the length of the screen line basically took up an entire line. It just didn't display enough text on screen to be readable. How did they nerf the stealth suit in MGS5? I'm forgetting. Sure, this is fine. Oh yeah, it's more like, in this game it's more like the MGS2 stealth suit. I gotta say, that's very weird going back and playing MGS2 after MGS3 and after.
The enemy's still on high alert after that last tangle. Don't get yourself caught.
How do I... there we go.
Blue team, search for the intruders. Gold team, guard the elevators. Go!
Ah, I should have equipped a magazine. In fact, you know what? I'm actually going to do that. It does seem weird to need to equip your throwable magazines. I'm not sure if they auto-populate. When you reload.
At the very bottom of the mine.
There we go. Oh yeah! Evening Iceman Dan. Yeah, the spirit camo works that way also. I think... do they muffle the footsteps with the sneaking suit in MGS3? I forget how that works exactly.
The enemy's still on high alert after that last tangle. Don't get yourself caught.
Blue team, search for the intruders. Gold team, guard the elevators. Go! Huh. What was that?
See you at home, fellas. Thank you.
That elevator should take you underground. To use the elevator, press the action button in front of the switch. Fulton recovered a helicopter is complete.
I think I just completed this level. I'm just gonna poke around a little more and see if there's anything I can find. I did not include my sound device. Yeah, I mean, it's like if you can survive your back being broken against the, you know, super reinforced underground steel ceiling, you deserve to become part of Big Boss's army. That's the test. This is neat, as a way of making the fact that you can fight multiple of these mechs, you know, fit the narrative to be able to see the mass-produced numbers of them just kind of hanging around. But man, I miss, it's weird. I do miss... No, you couldn't do that with a Shagohod. What am I thinking of? I'm thinking of like some time where you could sabotage.
Wait until the elevator arrives. Don't let anyone detect you.
You could sabotage something and it would affect the boss fight later. I'm not sure what I'm thinking of there. Yeah, Poopa is essentially a Shagohod. Yeah, Space Hamlet. I kind of curious to see how the level designers intended that to be played. I guess we'll never know. Oh, nice.
They're calling for backup up top. Come on! Right behind you!
Just gonna let these guys go up. That's a nice moment. I like that. Yeah, killing the end. I want to say you can do it with the Shagohod, but I'm also remembering. I mean, like sabotaging the Shagohod was definitely part of how that fight, part of how the story goes. But the thing I have in mind is being able to sabotage parts of a mech before you fight it. And I think I might be thinking of like one of the fights in Final Fantasy VII Remake. Oh, that's neat. The part of the challenge is they are going toward the alligator. See you later, alligator. They're going toward the elevator one by one, so they're actually running through the level. And yeah, Grayling, I know exactly what you mean with the visibility on different platforms. Love how heroically Big Boss poses as he leans against the wall. Have to think that on a certain level, Big Boss is impressing himself. What's this down here? Oh! Please go up? Okay, cool. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, whatever I just said does not spoil anything, and yeah, don't worry, you're fine. And I will not talk about it on stream. I actually haven't finished beating it myself. I got, I want to say about 12 hours into it, then got distracted by something and never went back to it. I hear it's a lovely game, and I owe it a finish. Yeah, I mean, I wonder if I should have brought the key card. The thing is, they just posted an open call for volunteers upstairs, so everybody who's tired of being stuck down here just went for it.
What's that noise?
Rip. Well, he's fine. Yeah. No. No. There was enough in the FF7 demo that was new-ish that made me kind of second guess what the content might finally be. So I still don't know how it ends, but I'm pretty sure I've got a good sense of what the high-level story beats are. Oof, even worse. Yeah, Mexican Sting. I'm in the kind of the same boat. I keep finding other things that I am more interested to play in the short term. Actually, this is kind of a nice, nice musical moment here. This level design actually has a very Metal Gear 1 feel to it.
The enemy's close.
You guys are the worst. Yeah, I know. I'm not sure why the hitbox for the guy far away was so close and the guy who was right in front of me. Oh yeah, you're a good cook. Well, you can make something anyway. Which is more than we can make back on Mother Base.
Fulton recovery subject confirmed onboard helicopter. Maybe a little elbow grease will get those shutters open. Try tapping the action button as fast as you can. Nice, Snake. From here, it's a straight shot to Peace Walker's hangar.
Oh, oh, oh. That music was perfect. Ended at just the right moment. That was nice. Grayling, I felt the same way, in large part because QTEs, especially the button mashing, had to be performed on the handheld itself, which, like, one of the last things I want to do when I kind of feel like the technology is expensive and fragile is, like, mash it as hard and fast as I can.
I've got some concerns about the dummy.
Now's your chance, Snake.
Jack, you've returned. What's wrong? Your body temperature has fallen.
Boss has got boundary problems.
Have you come to destroy me? Your pulse has quickened slightly.
Just chilly. It's freezing in here.
I see.
Boss.
What is it, Jack?
To speak to your point earlier, Mexican Sting, about the game shining in indoor
What
areas,
is it, Jack?
I actually feel that's largely true about Metal Gear in general. I feel like one of the reasons why Metal Gear Solid 1 was so strong, as was Metal Gear Solid 2, was that it was a very industrial indoors environment that, I don't know, I could wrap my head around it pretty easily. Ever since,
64.
outside of MGS3, I haven't found the outdoor environments that interesting on their own.
I killed you.
I have no record of such a debriefing.
Listen to me. I have to know. Did you defect to the Soviet Union of your own free will?
There is no mission record matching that description.
Ah,
Jack,
Yeah, I find this a little weird.
you're not the boss. The boss is dead.
don't do it, Jack.
Drop your weapon, big boss.
Mammal showed the same response back at the lab. It's a sure sign that you are nearby.
It's an honor to meet you again, big boss.
So you got,
I've seen that coyote before.
Lobo is the name.
Lobo. Smells like a rotting corpse to me.
I know all about you. Selena Yarsk, 10 years ago,
You were involved.
the operation...
oh, that's right, there are QTEs in this. Thank you, Grayling.
I planned the whole thing.
Shouldn't a suit like you be back in Langley? What the hell are you doing here?
It's what the CIA does best. Ensure people in the know keep their mouths shut, or else pack them off someplace where there's no one to listen.
I get it. Trying to claw your way back into their good graces.
It's not quite that simple. My aim is a new world order. Detente, the NPT.
Oh, that's right. You can ride the can ride their crate back. I forgot about that. It's a nice touch.
The structure of the Cold War has been
Man,
apart at the
Venom
seams.
Snake has got some guts.
A new age is dawning.
I'm okay with heights. I don't know if I'd be up for that.
Peace Walker, an infallible nuclear deterrent system with the patience and cold logic of a machine, will play a vital role.
That's your plan. Assigning humanity's sins to a bunch of machines.
I also think the the indoor stuff felt more playgroundy. That's one of the things that, as I mentioned at the top of the stream, that shenanigans and playground nonsense is my jam.
That man was a hero. He saved the world from all-out nuclear war. Humans are incapable of destroying themselves.
But an AI wouldn't hesitate to push the button.
Precisely. Making it the one real deterrent.
People hesitate, lose their nerve. Isn't that why deterrence theory works in the first place?
No. Machines don't make mistakes. Only men.
Yeah, Grayling, I saw that.
That's why a fully automated,
I laughed.
mechanized deterrent.
It's a good piece.
and Peace Walker is needed. Once our system is embraced, Langley will again turn its attention to Latin America as the cockpit of the new Cold War. Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama. Peace Walker will be deployed along Central America's entire Caribbean coast. All of North America, South America, and the West Indies will be within its range. We'll bring law and order to the entire continent.
And you'll still be calling the shots.
You still don't get it. The age of heroes is over, buried alongside the boss and her bankrupt beliefs. From now on, our only heroes will be machines. Surely no one understands that better than you, except perhaps your partner. A deterrent for hire, an army without borders. You've invented a new system too, and an admirable one at that.
That's supposed to be
I like the
I'm not
abstraction
offering anything.
there of lifting up to the MSF logo.
My new system, you and yours have got to go.
It's actually kind of a neat associative way of storytelling
I
that
have questions for him. Information
different from a lot of
critical
this
to
stuff.
The completion of the mammal pod. Give him to me.
Don't waste too much time. We've just received word that the SALT 2 talks are on schedule. We will launch on time.
Snake, you are going to help me resurrect her.
Shut up! The boss is dead.
Bring him.
Oh, I borked one. Oh well. Bench Straightman. Yeah, it's I don't know. Moments like that, it just, I don't know, man. Peace Walker just doesn't land with me the same way the other Metal Gears do. I kind of find myself feeling toward it like other people feel about the Metal Gears that I love, which is you sort of kind of tune out because it's very talky. And at the same time, I know people who I mean, got a great grasp on Metal Gear, love the same things I love about it, and they just love this game. Just different strokes, I guess. Alright. Good engineer. better at being an engineer. Yeah, I know I can auto sort. I just like going through and kind of looking at them manually. I like the passport art. It interests me to look at, so I like going through it. Yeah, more plot than theme. I think that's a good way of summarizing it, Space Hamlet. Well, the thing about it is, like, I'm never closed from liking it, and I'm always open to enjoying it from a different perspective. I mean, even your work on MGS5, Space Hamlet, opened me up to some aspects of it that initially I didn't see, and didn't get in my experience of it. And I'm interested in revisiting MGS5 with some more reading under my belt in maybe a year or two, I think, to see if there's more I appreciate it with other people's shared perspectives in mind. Because I do think it is important to give time to appreciate something. So often, the initial experience of pleasure or displeasure really falls back on the heels of kind of how you feel at the time, honestly. What's going on in your life, what you ate for lunch at the big dramatic moments, and going back after the fact, letting it digest, and then re-experiencing it is kind of a better way to kind of know how you feel on a deeper level about it. And I think a lot of that includes, like, sort of incorporating criticism and other people's opinions that you respect into it, to see if it winds up being coherent. Oh yeah, Centipede took out that vehicle like Solid Snake taking out Vulcan Raven's M1 Abrams. Threw it right down the barrel of the tank's gun. It's canon. Lizard, you missed with a Carl Gustav. Miller's taking that out of your paycheck, buddy. Yeah, I mean, maybe he, I don't know, maybe he asked for an M19 sidearm, and all they would give him was the Gustav. Yeah, Miller's pretty mad that we weren't able to invest in the kind of Walkman development that he would have liked, and instead spent that money on all that Carl Gustav inaccuracy. Yes. Absolutely. Nope, nope. Yes. Food in a cardboard box. That's all a man needs. And honestly, the two pair together quite well. One comes inside the other. Oh yeah, this is a torture sequence, QTE, isn't it? Yep, torture chamber escape. There we go.
Snake, I hope you can hear me. Word is you've been captured by Strangelove. I'm guessing they confiscated your gear, but I know you've still got something left. Search your memory, Snake.
Mexican Sting, I am curious what you meant when you said I wouldn't say that. Was that in response to the more plot than theme comment? Because I'm actually interested to know more of your thoughts on that. The QTE sequence, well, not QTE, more button mashing sequence at the end of, near the end of Metal Gear Solid 2 European Extreme is something that I actually can't do anymore. I know I've beaten Euro Extreme, have it on record, but
What's it going to be? Loyalty to
I
your
just can't. My
country,
wrist
or
cannot
loyalty to
handle
me?
that kind of
Your country,
sustained
or your old mentor,
tension
your mission,
anymore.
or your beliefs, your duty to your unit, or your personal feelings. The only thing
Oh
you
man,
can
I've never
believe in
played
with
that in co-op
absolute
before.
certainty is the mission, Jack.
Rise and shine. Coldman's greed does not concern me. I'm only interested in one thing. The truth. I'm a scientist, an AI developer, but not an AI myself. I'm a scientist.
Wonder how the
And as a
Carpenters
scientist,
feel
I
from the
find this
afterlife
distasteful.
about having their music appear in
You
this
understand?
context.
I am a scientist, and I expect answers that make sense. Now, what do you know? Your boss defected from the US, taking a Davy Crockett with her, and used it
Yeah,
to
the
launch
boss
a
does
nuclear
break the mold
strike
on that front.
Soviet territory. That much I know from the CIA's official debriefing. Did she defect or not? Answer me! Did she or did she not die for her country?
But really, such a very strong character. I think that her strength makes
She's so
MGS3 so much of what it is.
My orders were to take care of her.
Liar! I want to know the truth!
Wait, it's not a-
Yourself.
It's not a Carpenter song? Oh.
You hate me? Fine. Turn it up. It doesn't change the fact that I killed her.
I know that. But what I don't know is your motive. Why would a hero, loyal to the end, betray her country? What really happened? What did you see?
She betrayed more than just her country. She betrayed me.
Then how? did you
They're
explain
shocking
that
his
down?
whatever.
Why keep
That's
a
not, I
memento
guess,
of a
specified.
traitor?
What are you talking about?
And what about that scar? Don't tell me you ever seen
Given
a
how
scar
crotch
on a
impacts
ship, for
are
instance.
Canonically a significant part of Metal Gear lore, I would not be surprised.
With her memory. Rather effeminate, if you ask me. Answer me!
Oh, there we go. Yep, jammed right into the ribs.
Admit it! She sacrificed her life for America, didn't she? Sacrificed all for a country.
Oh, chest?
Nothing
Okay, it was looking to me like it,
soul,
I guess
all
that
for her dignity.
chest is a
And you.
large thing. I think of chest as typically the pectorals, but,
I do hate
I guess
you.
from collarbone
But
to
even you
mid-torso,
must
lower
understand
ribs.
how I feel. I have a right to know what she died for. Why won't you tell me? You're no
Thorax.
longer one
Do
of
humans have
Washington's
thoraxes?
lapdogs.
Thoraces?
You have no moral obligation to your country. Answer me! Would you see your beloved boss brought back to life? Then say it. Say she died for America. That she remained true to the end. Gave her life for the country that betrayed her time and again.
No. That woman was a traitor.
Why? For what purpose?
She went to her grave, cursing her.
Honestly, if it can be applied,
Why? Who is it?
I am
What
I am
are you
okay
protecting?
I'm not helping you finish that thing.
identifying the human thorax.
Face it, the boss is dead. Whatever's inside that machine.
The word thorax always makes me think of Zorak.
I'm
That's what I'm thinking of.
the voltage. The next one might kill you.
There we go. Yeah, given how I'm having to position the controller and the kind of very reckless pressure that I'm putting on the triangle button I was definitely uncomfortable doing that with my PSP.
Why? Why not just give up? He's passed out.
Get in there!
That's interesting, Mexican Sting, and I appreciate your outlining that. One second. Give me 1 second. I just kind of want to take a moment to appreciate that. Okay. Yeah, I think that a lot of the peace talk with Hot Coleman sort of dominated my understanding of it. But as we go through it, I'll pay more attention to that and see if I can hook more onto that framework.
Don't be getting any
Is
ideas.
this a Johnny? They left my stun rod? Oh, I can't.
Isn't there some way to bust that lock?
Oh, we're in touch now. Oh, my stun is. Ugh. I can feel that. How to use. Who is Strangelove's VO? I'm curious. Don't mind me, just happen to be bleeding profusely from this former scar on my chest. Vanessa Marshall? Ah, gotcha.
Checks out okay.
Actually, wonder if you can screw with this guy.
Quiet. Stop it! Quiet you.
Use the jigsaw by alternating between the L1 and R1 buttons. Just make sure to keep it down.
Come on!
Oh. Oh, I gotta go back to torture now, huh? Okay, we're in, MGS1 style torture, not MGS3.
Now,
I've got nothing to say to you.
I think you do. Very
I am
well
disappointed that it's not a Johnny. Yeah, the guards, prison guards in these games have a really short fuse.
Kill me. I don't care.
Oh yeah, remember that.
No, that is not what I want to know.
She tickles Snake to death. Do they have Akio Otsuka, just like laughing? Oh man, I actually want to look that up on YouTube and see what that sounds like.
Stop it!
I've got to say, I've been enjoying Otsuka's performance as Adachi in Yakuza Like a Dragon. severely overestimating how much this is a pleasurable experience. Though I don't know, I think Kojima's comfortable with a level of sadism toward his players in these games. Oh yeah, I have played Half-Life 2 but a long time ago, and I need to get my hands on an Oculus Quest, or, you know, an Oculus game system headset. That's it.
Don't be getting any ideas.
So I can get that. I actually, when I built my new computer, I built it with two things in mind. Dude!
What are you doing? Where did you get these?
What's going on, Snake? Report. What's your situation?
How far back are you gonna restart me? But yeah, I built my current PC to be able to stream well and also play VR. So hopefully in the next couple of years that'll be on the table. Okay. Not sure if I need to do this in rhythm, but I'm just smashing these buttons here.
Wait. Can't be imagining things.
Thanks, Grayling. It's great to see you tonight. And if you want to swing by on Tuesday, we're doing part 2 of Shadow of Destiny / Shadow of Memories, which is a lot of fun. And I think you'd enjoy it.
Huh?
Start talking. Start talking. Start talking. Start talking. Start talking.
Okay. I am definitely hearing some footsteps up above. I think I am anyway. Yeah, Shadow of Destiny is favorite.
Start talking.
Now.
Start talking. Start talking. Start talking.
Yeah, there's a Johnny moment for us. Oh, my stomach.
Start talking. Start talking. Start talking. Start talking. Start talking.
This is feeling a little more like the sneaking Metal Gear Solid that I'm used to. Do I have any Fultons? I do not.
Start talking. Start talking. Start talking.
Your beard is scratching me. I'm not sure how I can get these guys out without any Fultons. I wonder if I can find some in the environment. No, not all of the Mori sunglasses, just certain ones. Each one of them seems to have a unique feature to distinguish them from the others. Okay.
Enemy attack!
That's because he woke. Yeah, okay. It's because he woke up. I thought he was responding to. Responding to the fact that I rolled into that prisoner.
Start talking. Start talking.
Super nearsighted guard over there.
I heard something. Somebody there.
Oh boy.
The enemy's here!
Oh! Come on, dude. I pushed the controller up, and it grazed the edge of that column, such that it turned Snake the exact opposite direction I needed him to face. I want to see if I can get hold of a. Oh, hey, maybe these guys have one. Were you the one? No, let's go ahead and wake you up and knock you back out again. Oh, come on, man. There we go. That's who. There we go. Alright, there. Now I don't need to tell you two apart anymore. Can I... anything up there? Nope. Anything in here? Nope. Sure. Who knows what's in here? Yeah, I just want to see if I can get any Fultons so I can rescue that prisoner. But, so far I think I've checked every available, like, little room here. Oh no, it absolutely would not make sense for there to be Fultons in here. Oh, that's probably a co-ops. You can probably break your buddy out of jail, and that's probably where they're held. Anyway, no, it absolutely would not make sense. I'm just thinking there's got to be some way to rescue that prisoner. So I guess the only place that's left to check, I'm gonna check this corner here. Nope. And I already looked in this room. So I guess no dice. Oh! I bet if I have a card, I can open that door. That's probably what I need. What is this? Alright. Time to skedaddle. I know I've got the... It's not Huey's card, but it's the upgraded one. I wonder if I have that in my inventory. If I can get there and keep that, then maybe I can open up that red door. It's got a Fulton in there, and that's what I can use.
Snake,
Yeah,
it's good to hear your voice again.
Kaz, how about something a little sharper next time?
You got it. How about a diamond-bladed jigsaw?
That's absolutely what I want embedded in my chest as I am doing motions like this and running around.
Sorry. Hey, you okay?
Yeah, my lungs taste like charcoal.
Yeah, there you go, Mudcrab. Exactly.
For a while, huh?
I'll be fine. The pain in my chest is gone.
So that was just a copy of the boss's wound.
That's right. The scar's gone now.
Nice work.
What's the situation with you? Everyone okay?
Yeah, but there's a slight problem. I can't get a hold of Paz.
Paz. I thought the professor was looking after her.
So did I. Here's the deal. I started thinking, and I sent someone over to the school the professor mentioned.
And the school doesn't exist.
No, it exists, but Paz has been a no-show. The person at the school said neither the professor nor Paz had been seen there in quite some time.
Coleman knew about us. We've been marked by the CIA. The KGB and Paz brought us into all this. Coleman must know about them too.
You think Coldman's got them?
No. Remember, Galvez isn't some pencil pusher.
Yeah, the KGB will have eyes on Coleman night and day too, which could mean they knew what the CIA would try to do and are just staying out of sight.
Let's hope so. See what you can get out of the KGB, Kaz.
All right, back to work.
I better get moving.
Snake, we haven't detected any signs that Peace Walker's been activated, at least from above ground. It's still in the hangar you were in earlier. This time, it's really our last chance. Destroy that AI.
On my way.
Let's see. I've destroyed 3 AIs. I think Peace Walker's the last one that I've got left, besides the Zeke fight at the end, of course. Let's see, what are my special reports here? Excuse me. Gourmand, Tinker, Doctor, Fighter, also Fighter. Cool. Alright, give me 1 second. I'm gonna refresh my water and see if there's a panda available, and I'll be back in 1 second. Oh, don't. go. Here's a happy fella. Happy fella right here. Well, less happy these days than others because he is currently on a diet. Because he's a big fluffy fella, but he needs to be a little bigger, a little less big underneath the fluff. For general health and well-being, and this makes us, as with all cats, when they are hungry, their personalities become a little more pronounced than they might be otherwise. And as you can see, his raging idiosyncrasies are on full display right here and now. His cholesterol isn't high. We're just taking precautions to make sure that he stays as healthy as he can. And maintaining a good weight when he's younger vouchsafes his health as he gets older. Oh, hey, buddy. Yeah, you're a good fella. So, thank you, friend. I'll let you go back to dreaming about Cheez-Its or whatever else you like to eat. Oh. Absolutely. Well, I mean, I have no idea if he eats Cheez-Its. If he does so in my absence, but, you know, I leave a cat to his, like to give him his space, give him his privacy, give him a small stipend, let him buy and consume what he will, and, you know, just don't ask that many questions. Feel we all appreciate being treated like adults. Yeah, the barrister's doing solid work. Oh, good. This gives me a suppressor. I definitely want that. Yeah, I can afford this. Not 100% sure how the commerce works on Mother Base, because I seem to invest funds into R&D, and as soon as I'm done with them, those exact funds pop back up.
Snake, Peace Walker
In
is
my
being activated
in my bank account.
of the base. Get in there and destroy the AI before it's activated.
It's more like my bank account just sort of like swells and contracts based on what I'm developing, but it's not really, it doesn't really feel like so much a thing where I'm spending money that goes out. It's weird.
Time's running short. Get over to Peace Walker's hangar now.
I do miss the experience of getting my equipment back. After having been captured. Here we go. Now I'm back in this area, and everybody is at their post. Oh, that's right. It doesn't have a Walkman or any Walkman-like accessory, as I recall. Ah. Floating panda hairs around. Insect. Don't know if that's a rank or just an insult.
Fulton recovery subject confirmed onboard helicopter.
There's a prisoner around here somewhere.
Fulton recovery
Yeah, there we go.
helicopter is complete.
Oh, this is my elevator that I first came in with. My destination here.
Fulton recovery subject confirmed onboard
Oh, this is it.
helicopter.
Okay. I think Death Stranding's dynamic music was good. I don't know, I'm kind of in a similar boat with Dream Bomb,
Until the elevator arrives.
in that
Don't let anyone detect
I do like being able to play custom tunes out and about. I find that I'm actually more likely to listen to them that way, just because I get kind of twitchy fingers.
Enemies that coordinate their attacks are too much trouble when you're solo. Just steer clear.
Oh man, can I fast forward through this? Oh. Oh, I don't think you can select your track list until you develop your Walkman past a certain point. Do wish it stayed at the same track point per level. Oh, neat! I can take a trip upstairs now. Yeah, I can see that Mexican sting. I feel like Death Stranding had a sense of isolation that I think is probably only really matched by what?
I'm seeing things. Freeze.
Matched by Shadow of the Colossus. Yes, thank you. That is in fact what I was trying to say. I have my doubts how successful this will be. Alright, buddy. I am not going to question what got you where you are in your career.
Start talking. Start talking. Start talking.
All right.
Freeze.
Yeah, I think so. That's Metal Gear Fair there for you. Is there another level I can go up to? Is this, oh yeah, this is where I need to go. Cool. Yeah, I mean, Miller plays that character in a Metal Gear game. Is this... Okay, yeah, this is the Rex-like hangar, I think. No, wait, this is... Where it just came from. Okay. Weird. Okay, yeah, multiple ways to get to the same destination. It's pretty neat. Yeah, he's a little too bitter to have any room for that in his personality in MGS5. Speaking to the point of, I'm sorry, I forget who mentioned it, but the point of the sneaking suit being a little OP in this, I have a feeling that part of the sneaking challenge is lost between, you know, moving between different floors because the
All right, Peace Walker can't be far. Hurry.
footsteps on the grate probably calls attention to Snake's location.
Nice. Fulton recovery helicopter is complete.
What's that noise?
Start talking. Start talking.
A lot of guys with old Snake mustaches in this one.
Freeze.
Yes, it's very 70s mustaches. Oh! No, thank you. I'm used to thinking of them as math teacher mustaches.
Guess not. Enemy assault! You alright? What's that noise? What?
Oh, crap.
The enemy's close! What's that?
Come on, just want to get behind you.
Negative. We can't spare reinforcements. We'll have to make do with what you have.
This is, Oh, hi. Didn't see you there. Way to rush in there. Nope. I'm not feeling how much my left stick waggle there is impacting. Oh, I don't have any healing. Oh wow, I think I just screwed myself. Alright. Time to play this like an actual stealth game. Okay, I need to get back to that door. And...
The enemy's hiding! Go find him! What's that noise? Ha! Enemy? Probably still hiding here somewhere.
All right. Whew. I didn't have the resources to bail myself out of my mistakes that time. Came over with like a sliver of health.
Snake!
Paz.
At last I found her. The culprit who led you here to begin with. Should have taken care of her back at the supply facility.
Snake, don't!
The mammal pod is finished. Peace Walker's activation sequence is complete.
Finished.
With the boss, you were loyal to the end. I'll grant you that. But your silence was exactly the answer I needed. 10 years ago, your mission was to kill her. And her mission was to be killed by you. She fulfilled her duty to America to the very end. Thanks to you, Snake, the final missing piece is now in place. And thus, the boss is restored to life as the mammal part. I thank you.
Restored to life. You're crazy.
Yeah, Strangelove's got pretty powerful powers of intuition there.
I've already selected Peace Walker's initial target. An offshore area in the Caribbean. The trade winds will scatter the fallout all over the surrounding region. Crops and fish will die, leaving plenty of free hands to help us mass produce Peace Walker. Oh, and wouldn't you know, someone's gone and built a pesky little fortress there. Now who would do that? And right in the middle of the target zone too. Oh well, all the better to test the warhead, CEP.
You bastard.
I wonder who'll miss a ragtag band of pirates all the way out in the middle of the Caribbean. But first, we're going to prove to the White House that our baby can travel the Caribbean coast on its own. The whole world will know of Peace Walker's versatility. They'll witness the birth of a deterrent that can penetrate both communist and guerrilla-controlled territory, traverse any kind of terrain, and deliver a nuke anywhere it needs to go. Untouchable, unstoppable, the perfect deterrent.
The Cold War's days are numbered.
Coleman's got a
Deterrence
really
isn't only
good
about America
villain
and Russia
voice.
now.
You know what? You're
I
absolutely
don't know who they got for
While
his
we've
VO,
been
but
bringing our allies, China, France, even India have
it's a really
surpassed
strong
us.
performance.
There's a free-for-all nuclear arms race brewing just below the surface. The nuclear threat will only spread, which is exactly why we must deter it here and now. And the Peace Walker Project is the key. The advent of Peace Walker will bring calm to this restless world. Don't you see, Snake? We need nukes, controlled nukes, to have peace.
Lies!
Peace Walker will restore order. Order in the form of a new Cold War.
I'd be interested to compare the length of philosophical exchanges between MGS1 and Peace Walker. Gut says that MGS1 was like very pithy and very quick signal, this is what I think, oh no, this is what I think, and without a lot of elaboration between the 2 points. And I feel like they're getting much more into weeds and details in this instance. Oh man, they dismantled the cocoon and got rid of that fast. Or maybe they just dropped it down the sewer there. Hey, you're right, Mexican Sting. I think I'm thinking about the length of those moments in the cutscenes itself. Again, all I've got is just a hunch on that. But I'm mainly asking just as an open question. Man, battle dress would be super useful right now going into this fight, but I don't believe I have that yet. Let's see, what time are we at here? It's about 10. I think we have time to do a Peace Walker fight here, or at least one attempt at it, and then we can do some skateboarding. Oh man, that's almost done, and I actually really want that. Oh yeah, this skateboarding is great. We get to play through as Raiden this time. Yes. We get to play through as Raiden this time and figure out how to move the crane. No, nope. No battle stuff here. Gustav, yeah. Let's... These seem to have roughly the same power. This one can carry more, but it's also really a pain in the butt to reload. So let's switch out with our C. Gustav and switch out the Law with this. And that feels pretty good. Yeah, it was Substance only. I think that the Xbox release was also Substance. I don't remember. Oh, weird. Yeah, well, I mean, I'll show it to you from the... I'll show it to you from the menu once we get into that. Oh yeah, always go for the legs. It's a Metal Gear. What if they had Lori Allen back to do additional lines for this, or if they just reused a lot of her performances from MGS3? Whoop, that's a whiff. What if I can do this? Cool. So I can toss this and get that stuck up there somewhere. Run, 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 run!
Okay, now's your chance. You're about to commence the requested supporting fire. Stay clear. They've okayed your request for a cardboard box. It'll be sent out shortly.
Man, I gotta say, this Peace Walker fight is going by so much more quickly than the Cocoon fight. I do like the Hulk smash. That's cool. Ooh. Oh man, it's just stomping around wherever it can with the flamethrower. That's oh, wrong marker. I'm really glad I wasn't standing under that.
They've okayed the request for support. They're sending out a cardboard box as we speak.
Oh, that's gonna hurt. Yep, in fact it did. no. Get the hell out of the way of that.
They've okayed your request for a cardboard box. It'll be sent out shortly.
Oh, cool.
Okay, now's your chance.
Oh man, I don't have any higher ground to get to. Okay, great.
They've okayed the request for support. They're sending out a cardboard box as we speak.
All right. Catching up on chat here. It's not final boss territory, it's final-ish. Yeah, skateboarding was at the bottom of the list of menu items, and if you're not going through a lot of the extra stuff right off the bat, it can be easy to miss. I can also imagine somebody just screening it out as maybe the least expected thing to see there. That's a great shot. Okay, that's probably why it was taking so much damage so quickly. It's got a second form. Is that Coldman? Oh, I see. They're attacking it with a helicopter so that the helicopter then becomes its target so they can stop it from getting enmeshed with a fight with Snake. Oh yeah, that's right. The boss's horse. Snake is ready to ride.
There it is. It's still in range.
Oh yeah, the way they mesh the Yeah, that's exactly what's happening. The way they mix the what looks to be like a 3D model animation in the 2D cutscene is neat here, and one of the few instances that happens.
The day is dawning. Go!
Like this right here. Oh yeah, this is super cool. I remember really liking that there was this weird 2D dodging minigame in the comics. Oh, there's an extra QTE prompt.
Approaching the border.
See you around, big boss.
Holy, look at that. Zeke, that's the border up ahead.
I really wonder how they did that, if they just like drew that animation by animation.
Hang in there.
Well, Ark, thank you for coming out. Yeah, no, the ending isn't in sight yet, and I'm actually about to call the Peace Walker stream, put on some skateboarding, and then call it a night. So, no, you're not going to miss any more Peace Walker if this is where you yourself peace out. So I hope you have a good night. And thanks for coming by. Yeah, as a, I think for the longest time I just kind of accepted, you know, button mashing like that as just something that you encounter in games. I kind of hate it. And I think it should never be done because it's not fun, and I don't see the skill value in it. Yeah, so I don't ever want to play a game that does that anymore. It is a skill, and I hate it. Like, that's the thing, is, like, I can do that really... I used to be able to do that really well, to be clear. But just as I'm aging, the raw materials that that lead to a good performance there are enjoying doing that much less, and where once I took pride in being able to sort of like summon those micro muscles and sort of like get a very quick tap out of that, it's less rewarding to me now. Oh yeah, Swimmy, that's that is absolutely. Did I save? I'm gonna try saving again. That was absolutely a that is the most difficult button mashing sequence in any game for me ever. Takahashi Meijin. All right, yeah, I'll take a look at that. Thanks, Time Zombie. Pen trick. Yeah, I tried using a pen trick. I tried using a spoon trick was another one that I heard about, but I was never able to get the same results out of that as I was just by tensing up the right muscles. That particular kind of button mashing sequence is kind of brutal, coming on the heels of the torture sequence as well. But 16 button presses per second. What was that was in Killer 7, wasn't it? Killer 7 does that when you need to resurrect the Smiths. And I remember if you wipe as Mask, or if you wipe as Harmon, young Harmon, on Killer 8, the threshold for crossing the button mashing is just brutal. It's brutal. There was actually, I've never been able to locate this since. I've wondered if I made it up in my head, but I know I didn't. There was a cartoon kind of, I think this was on Grasshopper's site at some point, but it was sort of poking at how, like, Garcian is in some way a game player and he is controlling these characters through the TV. And it has him looking at the screen with the bloody bag of the head or whatever remains of the lost Smith on the screen, and he himself has the GameCube controller and he is smashing it, and Garcian is just like losing it. It's really cute. I wish I could find where it was again, but I don't really even know what criteria to search by. And maybe it's like an old thumb drive or something that I, right-click saved somewhere. But anyway, thanks everybody for coming out for the Peace Walker stream. Give me 1 second. I'm going to cut this, set the PS2 up, and we'll be back for some skateboarding. So give me 1 second. And yes, I agree. The hold button is welcome. Actually, an improved step up from that. I think the way that games are handling accessibility features are really kind of like phasing this kind of button mashing out. Even to the level, and I appreciate this, if I had known this were a feature, I would have turned it on at the start. The accessibility features in Naughty Dog's games, particularly Last of Us 2, are very, very good. One of them being that if you don't want to keep pressing triangle or whatever the context button is as you are going through these ruined environments, sort of foraging for materials, you just turn on an option and your characters will automatically open a drawer if you approach it, pull out whatever materials are in there. And that's also, yeah, there is value, there is pleasure value, I think, in pushing a button and having something happen. So I don't think that needs to be taken out. It's just past a certain threshold, the repeated action sort of ceases to become meaningful, becomes rote, and depending upon your level of accessibility, just like untenable. But yeah. Really? I haven't played RDR2. That's one game that I would love to hop on, but also sort of dread doing, because I know how much time it's going to demand of me once I get into it. And right now, Yakuza Like a Dragon is siphoning up all my RPG time. So maybe once that's complete, I'll have time to jump into that. But yeah, okay, give me 1 second. Do some skateboarding, listen to Wicked Shred of the MGS scene, MGS theme. So yeah, have a good night, Ark. It's great seeing you.